What's up, guys? Welcome back. More Superflex. Excuse me. We've got the 4 spot. So we've got Bijan Robinson. Um, I will say that I've had the 4 a couple of times, and taking Bijan first actually puts you in this weird position where your quarterback room does tend to suffer just a little bit. So we'll see what happens here. It's hard to pass Bijan. Well, Bijan goes, so I guess we're getting Lamar Jackson, which I did want to kind of start differently here. So I actually am okay with the way this worked out. I think this is the first time I have Lamar Jackson in any draft, Superflex or regular. Just don't tend to pay for him at his ADP. So guess I'm happy to start with him here. Let's hope last season was an aberration and he can get back to being the quarterback that he has been prior, but not too good. We still want the Bills to win the AFC, obviously. So, okay, these rooms, especially these Superflex rooms, are super quarterback hungry. Like, this is not uncommon to see 8 quarterbacks off in the first round, and right now, right, we've got 6. So if 2 of these 3 go quarterback, that's right on pace. The second and third round stay equally hungry for quarterback, maybe a little bit less than the second because you got a lot of folks gobbling up the positional advantage here. But in the third round, it really turns right back on, and you're going through that last tier of quarterbacks, last bastion of quarterback civilization, if you will, that ends with Tyler Shugg right there at the end of the third, beginning of fourth round. So Caleb Williams, Nakua goes off, McCaffrey. Okay, so the end of the board opting for some positional advantage here. Herbert goes off here. The Nakua player will have Prescott, I think, is next up for ADP. Right, Prescott, if they want him. If not, they could grab Lady Jonathan Taylor or Njigba or St. Brown, Cook. All these guys are available. So he opts for Dak Prescott. We'll be drafting at 21. So we should see a quarterback back here we like. We like Dart. We like Purdy. Hopefully one of these guys falls. I'll be happy to take them as our second asset. If this trend continues, they will dry up right before we get here, and we'd be staring at Bo Nix or Jared Goff or one of those guys, in which case I might be inclined to punt for one of the running backs and then pick up a Goff, Kyler Murray, Stafford, Love in the third round. If we can start quarterback here, I'd like to try to, but with actually the way this is going, it doesn't look like that's going to be a thing, right? I don't have Bo Nix that much higher than those positional players. In fact, I don't have him higher at all. So hopefully this player does not take Brock Purdy, and we can jam Brock Purdy here, but they do. So our question is, do we want to pull up Nix? Or do we want one of these positional guys? I have a ton of James Cook in these drafts. You know what? Let's stick to our guns. Let's pull up Nix. And start kind of things. That's looking fine. Doing the thing. Let's see if we can start triple quarterback here, and maybe we get a Matt Stafford. We're drafting at 28, so if Stafford doesn't go there, we could get Love, Mayfield, or Shug. I am higher on Shug this year than most people, so all good there. We also could grab a Cook or a Genty and just grab another quarterback later. I'm potentially okay with doing that and grabbing a really nice positional piece here if that presents itself. So there's Cook and Stafford go. I don't want Kyler Murray as much. He's okay. I think he's going to be fine this year. I just don't love him at his ADP. So Murray goes there. So we will get Jordan Love or Shug or Mayfield. I guess all 3 are fine. Let's see who falls to us. Guess I don't have as much Mayfield, so maybe we grab him here. We're going to get one of the 3. Shug is the lowest rated. He's going off at 37. I'm the highest on him of the 3, but I don't have any Mayfield right here. We could also grab Barkley or Henry or one of these guys, but let's stick to our guns. Let's go in with our with what we planned. Get triple quarterback. I haven't started this way, and kind of go from there. Because at 45, 52, we're still going to have great running backs on the board, right? Jeremiah Love, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Tyron Williams, Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs, Stadabu. We'll get 2 of these guys to start our backfield off and feel pretty good about it. Daniel Smith and Jigbo Jefferson is an interesting start in this format. This is a half a point PPR, but you only start two receivers. You don't start three because you have a traditional flex and a super flex, but you start two receivers and two running backs. So that super flex takes the spot of one of the receivers. So receivers a little less important. Interesting to note in this draft room, we are the only player to go three quarterbacks through three. Shud drops all the way down here. I was considering him up here. Kind of surprised to see the Daniels player and the Prescott player pass on him, but again, they want to scoop into the positional advantage. What's nice about Nix and Mayfield is there are plenty of stacking options later. I'm not a huge Zay Flowers guy, which is probably why I'm not a huge Lamar Jackson guy. He doesn't score enough touchdowns for my liking, but um, we're actually in really good shape here to potentially even grab one of London or AJ Brown if we want them. If we don't, there's this whole tier of running backs here that are really good. I've gotten a ton of Trey McBride in these drafts. I don't think I want to take him here. There is still Drake London and AJ Brown available, so we'll see what happens here. I think we want to start with the running back. London is a tier above some of these running backs. So I guess maybe that's a consideration. We did just get London, though. Let's pull up Javonte Williams. There's going to be a very good receiver on the turnaround, or Cam Statabu, but I like Javonte Williams. I'm very high on him. I have him over ETN this year. He's kind of my highest of this next tier. And there'll be somebody right here at 52. I mean, look at what we still have on the board. Love, McBride, Brees Hall, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, George Pickens, Nico Collins, Devontae Smith, Ross Years. All these guys are great. And Ibuka is somebody I would target. I don't think we're in line for his ADP. His ADP is 74, and we are going to be at 69. So, yeah, and 76. So, we could look to get Ibuka with Mayfield. That'll feel pretty good. So, let's try to target running back here. We would be pulling up pretty heavily on Statabu, Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Quisha. We'd be pulling pretty high on any of them. So, what do we want to do here? Do we want to grab a wide receiver for the value? Or do we want to grab one of these guys? You know what? Let's grab Josh Jacobs. I don't know what his situation currently looks like legally, but I think he's a good value there. And we'll grab another running back. We may even grab another running back in here. But right now, I do like we have a sort of rock solid start with Jaxon, Nix, Mayfield. Assuming Jaxon does what he's done, Nix or Mayfield, one of them should find their way into a super flex on a pretty weekly basis. So feel pretty good about that. We don't have to touch quarterback for the rest of this draft. Feel pretty good about that. After we take Jacobs, Love, McBride, Hall goes. Yes, I took Jacobs above Love. Not super high on Love this year. Took Jacobs above Hall too. I'm not super high on Hall either. So Love and Hall both followers here. We kind of shot our shot on the guys we like. 69 to 76. If you look at that ADP, you've got DeAndre Swift in there. If he falls, love to have him as our third running back. We could be looking to stat Flowers potentially. I guess since we have Jaxon, this is what we want. Quinshawn Judkins is in that range. And Buka is in that range. Love all these guys. McConkey's in that range in case Ibuka goes. Faisal Tutin's in that range. Terry McLaurin is kind of outside of that range, which means we definitely get him. So we're going to get two very good positional pieces here. Probably look to take our third RB, one of these guys. Judkins, let's put him in there. I have him. I don't think Smith is in a Montgomery's in a fall, but no, he does. Okay, but we'll get one of these running backs. We should get one of these running backs here, and then we'll start our wide receiver room, hopefully with Ibuka. But if not, McLaurin, all these guys are fine. In fact, kind of how I have this is I'd probably grab Quinshawn Judkins above these guys. If not, I'd grab one of these receivers ahead. But that being said, back here, the Gibbs player hasn't taken a second running back yet. Travion Henderson goes there. The May, Purdy, Lamb, Brown. So they did get Brown with May. That's pretty good. Love player Tate's Judkins. Tate's my guy. Getting sniped. So we could reach down on Byshell Tootin here, or we could take Bucky Irving. Not super high on Bucky Irvins this year. We could take just take Zay Flowers and stack them up, and probably get Bishal Tuden on the turnaround. Let's do that, and if not, we'll get Ibuka or Irving. I mean, we'll get one of these guys. I think we'll take one of these guys and be cool with it. Obviously, our preference are for. I'd say Tuden is probably our highest preference. Um, Ibuka, Irving, kind of in that order. So we'll get Zay Flowers after Jaxon. This is the only exposure I have to Jaxon and Flowers, notably in any draft on this site in any format. Not super high on those guys, so something a little different. With a little bit of uncertainty around Jacobs, I would like to get another running back in this tier. I guess you can kind of put Price in this tier. After that, it gets a heck of a lot crazier, and we're going to be, when it gets back to us down here at 93, you'd have Dowdle in that range. You're not going to have Pollard, most likely. You might have Hubbard, Chuba Hubbard. You might have Ramondre, but I'd like to grab another running back here. Especially with Ibuka going now, I have no priority on a stack necessarily. And I'm not going to pull Waddle up this high. So Tootin would be great. If we don't get sniped right here on Tootin, I'll feel pretty good. We did not. They took McConkey, so Byshell Tootin feels good as the RB3. And then as it comes back around to us, we'll be drafting at 93 to 100. So again, just looking to pick up positional value there. We already have all of our quarterbacks out of the way. Our tight end options are lacking. Maybe we picked up a Mark Andrews. I don't care about Engram. Kate Otten is fine, but just something to consider. So we'll be in 93 to 100. And again, if either of these running backs fall, cool. Don't love Jalen Warren. Not really touching him, honestly, this year. I don't think Jameson Williams will fall, but I will put him up there just in case he does. I've seen it happen a little bit. Same thing with Waddle. I just don't think they will, but I've seen that happen. It's crazy. Every Jameson Williams at a crazy price. But we might get an Adunze, one of these guys. Dowdle on the turnaround, potentially. Harvey on the turnaround. We could look to pick up a craft in this range. So Warren probably won't wheel as well, but we'll put him up there. Quasi interested in him. Yeah. Okay. Those are the ton of wide receivers off the board, but this is kind of where all this value makes sense, especially for those who went QB heavy early. Do we have any one QB believers? No, no one QB believers in this one. Everyone's got three. It looks like. No, the Purdy May drafter has two. The Kyler Murray Daniel Jones drafter has two, and the Herbert's Shud player has two. They go Loveland Warren here, unstacked on both fronts, but so yeah, Kraft could be a consideration. What's his ADP? His ADP is 100, and we're going to be at 93 and 100, so we might be able to get him on ADP. That'd be cool. I'd be down for that. If I think there's a tier break after him down to Fannin and Laporta and Pitts. So if he gets to us, maybe we take him and then we just pick up whatever piece of positional value falls to us on the turnaround. We'll see how that goes. Although I have Roma Dunze at the top of this pile of receivers, so maybe that's what we do here. Although I think if we don't take Kraft, we're likely if we don't take Kraft here, we're likely not to get him. But you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and grab Roma Dunze. I have him that much better than Moore, Tate, and Brian Thomas. The Allen player down here is incentivized to take more. So maybe there's a world where Kraft wheels to us. And if he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Um, there's still a lot of tight ends I like. Pitts is at 113. We'd be at 117, so probably not going to get him. Could pick up Kittle, though. Could pick up Mark Andrews. In fact, we probably want to do that. So, yeah, Kraft goes there. I'm okay with that. I wanted to get my second receiver in play um, without a question. And now coming back to us here, if Dowdle's available, I'm just going to take him. I also like Dobbins. I have way too much Dobbins, but it's because I like him in this range so much. I think he's just the highest value on the board. Here, we will take Dowdle over Dobbins, but really happy to get my fourth running back here. Have two solid receivers, Flowers and Adunze. Then we'll be at 117, 124. So That does put us in a range for a Pitts if he falls. If not, there's a Kittle in range, and I don't really care about Kelsey. Where's Andrews? Mark Andrews 134. So where are we looking here? Uh, yeah, we'd have to pull him up, which we can do that. Likely he's not there anymore, so I'm okay doing that. Dobbins isn't going to fall. I'll leave him flat, but he's not going to fall. There's also Cortland Sutton down here and Jaden Reed. Both these guys are pretty big time. Quentin Johnston's big time for me. All these guys are fine. I don't like Kelsey. Think he's done. But there's Godwin down here. We could backstack also with our buddy Baker Mayfield. So our team construction right now is Lamar Jackson, Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs, Special Two, Rico Dowdle, Zay Flowers, Roma Dunze. It's okay. I mean, we are robust. We did go robust QB. I did want to try this, and I wanted to try this from the kind of the middle of the board. I guess it works out sometimes a little bit better down here, but right. I think Mayfield, Love, and Shutt are kind of all the same tier. So getting your guys down here now. Love, Stroud, Young. That actually worked out after knowing Chase Taylor, Montgomery, or Jason Taylor, and then picking up Montgomery. That actually worked out. All right, Fannin off the board. So for us, Kyle Pitts is the highest ranked. I will take him if he goes around here. Yeah, he does. That's fine. Um, I think we want a wide receiver and a uh, our tight end. So I think I'll take Cortland Sutton to pair up with Waddle with Nix here rather. Waddle, no, Waddle pairs with Nix. Cortland Sutton also pairs with Nix. So let's see if we get sniped off. We did not. Okay, so we'll take Cortland Sutton here to pair up. And then do we want to grab like one of these receivers or do we want to grab um reach up on Mark Andrews? That's the question. And Mark Andrews would have to fall like 5, 7 spots here. I don't know if he does or not. But if we don't get him, we're gonna be tough sledding. There's just such good wide receiver value here. Like Reed, Quentin Johnson, Godwin. It's hard not to take one of them. Really hard not to take one of them. We'll probably grab Lloyd too here to handcuff Jacobs later. Reed, Quentin Johnson go. So we've got Mark Andrews. Of course, I think we're going to take Godwin. I think he just got too high weekly upside to pull Mark Andrews up that high. If Mark Andrews falls, we want him. No questions asked. If he doesn't, there's also Kincaid or Likely in that range, and I like both of those guys. Um, where does Lloyd go? I know he's been going higher than he was. He's not that high. I just want to flat him so I don't forget him. Where does he go? He's right there. He's at 202. Okay, he's way at the end. That's great. That is great. So after getting Flowers and Adunze, picking up Sutton and Godwin, which are both stacked with Nix and Mayfield, feels really good. So all of our receiving threats, all of our quarterbacks have one of their receiving threats stacked. Adunze is the only unstacked resource. And then we've got Williams, Jacobs, Tootin, and Dowdle. We are going to need to look, again, we'll look tight end as we're coming back through here. If Andrews falls, we take him. If not, we get a Kincaid or Likely. And then we probably need to pick up a running back, but we're not on ADP for any of the running backs I like. So we could pick up another receiver and then just jam a ton of running backs late. That could absolutely be a thing. All right. Andrews goes up here. So I think Kincaid or Likely are going to make it back to us. I just like the weekly upside of either of these guys. And I've made a bad habit of punting all of the value to the bottom for wide receivers and just winding up with a stack of trash wide receivers. And I'm trying to prevent that. I'm assuming they're going to take Dobbs here. The May player is going to take Dobbs, but maybe not. They're going Kittle. Okay, they do Parasol. We'll take Kincaid. He's a fine place to start our room. Heading back the other way, I guess we could take a Woody Marks. It's either that or like a Golden if he falls, which he probably will not. But there's also Dobbs, one of those guys. I guess I'm fine with Marks. There'll be some good value on the way back around, running back wise too. So I guess Bateman is a late stack wide receiver. Ted Hurst, um, Franklin. So there's some late stack wide receivers we can see. So we'll probably get off wide receiver for a little while, go with some late stack options for our guys. Make sure we shore up more running backs and maybe look to get another tight end that we like. Do we like any of these guys? No, we don't. I mean, some of these guys are okay, but do we like them to like enough to pull them up over potentially some of the running backs here? No, I think we probably just take Woody Marks. I have no Keaton Mitchell. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know what type of thing that is. Something I should be thinking about, I suppose. I just think Woody Marks is already a piece of that, even with a piece of that offense, even with um, Montgomery there, right? So I think that's kind of where we're at. Okay, as I come back around now, drafting from the 165, 172, we're looking at like Jonah Coleman, Dylan Sampson, Hawkinson, Sadiq, Schultz. Cool with all these guys. Cool with all of them. McMillan's there as a stat for our boy. Yep. Yeah, maybe we can get another tight end in here. And then we've got McMillan to stack with Mayfield. Our running back room right now is Devonta Williams, Josh Jacobs, Bishal Toot, Rico Dowdle, Woody Marks. So probably going to go 6 or 7 running backs. We're definitely going to go 3 tight ends. We're definitely going to go 3 QBs. We probably want 7 wide receivers, so we probably want 7 running backs as well. Algier's still on the board. As soon as they go to flag him, he goes, so he's still on the board. What are you doing there? All right. Henry and Okonkwo go. Algier, Carson Beck. So did anybody really? Well, okay. Herbert, Shard. They shot their shot and they're just kind of really just saying, hey, Herbert and Shud need to do what they need to do. They need to stay healthy, and then this team is just going to win everything with McCaffrey, Brown, Olave stacked with Shud, Loveland, Burden, Warren, Metcalf. Yeah, this is a stacked team over here. If these 2 guys stay healthy and do their thing, for sure. So, would we have rathered pick up like a Cam Ward here rather than a Baker Mayfield and get a uh, Saquon Barkley or H. or Hampton up here or Jefferson or one of those guys? Probably. So probably the 3 QB didn't work out the way it looked. Okay, we're on the clock. Let's grab um, let's grab Coleman. I've got too much of him this year. Let's grab him based on ADP. And then I guess maybe we grab Hawkinson on the way around if he makes it back. If not, we'll grab McMillan. That's fine. Lloyd we're gonna grab later. Lloyd will get right here at 189. We should get 189 or 196. He's right in that range. So, but I feel like tight ends off the board. Yeah, AJ Barton or Garner Helm are kind of Kate Otten. Where's he go? 184. Do we pull him up? No, we need him to slide, and these tight ends don't tend to slide, right? So I think we actually do take Otten here. Kate Otten, pulling him up pretty considerably. Pulling him up over Jalen McMillan. Nah, let's hope he falls. Let's hope he falls. We'll take Jalen McMillan. Let's hope he falls. If we're gonna grab backstackers here, like another guy we're gonna be looking for late is gonna be Hurst and Pat Bryant. And where's Franklin? He's somewhere down here, right? Franklin, where are you at, buddy? Yeah. These guys are like right at the end, like way at the end. We'll be looking at those guys. Um, hopefully on wheels here, and then we can pick up Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd. That would feel pretty good. We're not going to touch any of the um, quarterbacks. We just don't need to. We went Jaxon, Nix, Mayfield, and if those three don't work out, our season doesn't work out. We've got 5 picks left. We'll probably grab 2 more tight ends, 2 more wide receivers, and I guess another running back, and be done. And again, we're going to prioritize all of the back stack options here with our passers. Well, namely Nix and um, Mayfield. The other person we could look at right in the last round is Bateman. He's way down there though, right? Bateman is a considerable way down. He's 235. Yeah, we'll throw him down there. Maybe we get him final round. I don't have any exposure to him. I don't know if anybody has any exposure to him this year. All right, there's a world. There's a world. There's no world. Kate Otten goes. Always. All right. These tight ends are bad, but that is what always seems to happen to me. So I guess I was supposed to reach on Otten there. I don't know. I guess. Um, and Graham's a consideration too, but he's way lower, so that's fine. Mara, Allen. So here I'll probably opt in for. I'm gonna opt in for. I'll take this tight end, Dulcich, 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 whatever, and then we'll hope to grab Marshawn Lloyd down here. Um, and then on the turn back, come back around, I'll grab Endram and um, start stacking the wild and crazy wide receivers that we have. So Lloyd should wheel. If he doesn't, I'll pick up one of these three guys. I don't care. I mean, I do want Lloyd just because I have Jacobs, so I'm trying to cover my bases here, but no big deal. Jackson, Barner, Ferguson go to the Allen Stafford Mendoza player. So they went with Cook and Williams early, and then got like Crosty, Sampson, Davis. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then have Nigel Collins, uh, Tate McMillan, Carnell Tate. Yeah, it's pretty good squad. It's a pretty good squad right here. Oh, we're on deck. We'll take Lloyd. All right, we'll get Ingram on the way back around, and then we just get receiver. Which any of these guys, I don't. It doesn't make any difference. It does not matter. Did I flat out all the right guys? I think I did. Pat Bryant. Yep. Yep. There's Justice Hill, but we just took our seventh RB. I think we're good on that front. From our son Lloyd backing up Jacobs. So only need 2 of these 3 to show up, and then the third one can, and then any of the remaining 5 can go to the flex every single week. We're gonna certainly have one of these guys running point, one of them in Superflex. We should Superflex every single week. Um, with Flowers and Adunze doing what they're supposed to do, occasionally Sutton or Godwin can step into that Adunze role or Flowers role and fill the cracks. Feel pretty good. And then we obviously have Kincaid, Dulcich, and probably Evan Ingram, as he doesn't tend to go. Nobody believes in him, including me. So, but we'll make sure we get him here just so we have at least a little correlation with Bonex. And then I thought the Bonex Evan Ingram connection last year was going to be lit, but it did not work out that way at all. In fact, quite the opposite. Ingram just kind of fell off cliff. Ayuk, goes. I've stopped drafting Ayuk. I don't know if he's even playing this year, but I know that he's a maniac and he's trying to win these leagues. So, and I mean, I guess if he plays somewhere, he's going to be a threat. But I just don't. I don't see it. When's the last time he took a meaningful snap? We're going on 2 years now. Joku goes. Okay, we'll take Engram here. Huge run on this tier of receivers here. Okay, just to make sure we get him because all these wide receivers and are the same. I think I'm okay throwing Bateman on the team right here at the end. So we'll pick up one of these wide receivers. Ted Hurst is the highest rated of all of them. So I guess that's who we get. There's Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin as well, and then Bateman, but I don't have any Bateman. So just to give him another pass catcher, I could throw one of the other Denver guys down. So we'll see who's there. I don't think I see Bateman go off the board to anyone ever, so he will be there almost certainly. Maybe there's a reason that for that. That's the reason I shouldn't be taking him. I don't know. Who knows? As I look out across the board, most of these teams look pretty even. The May Purdy player gets Lamb, Brown, Love, Judkins, Stevenson, Wilson, Harrison, Kittle. Does not touch. So they go two quarterbacks and don't touch another one. That's one way to do it. I've done that. I did that with Caleb Williams Herbert. See, the Lawrence player does just snap up a Shedeur Sanders down there. Caleb Williams Lawrence did Achane Stadabo, Bowers, Smith, Watson, Monungai, Fannin, Sanders, Andrews, Henry. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty decent team. So this is a pretty balanced lobby. I wouldn't see anybody went too far off the rails as I look across these teams. We maybe, if anything, got a little punished for going 3 quarterbacks, but we wanted to give that strategy a shot to see how it paid out. Sorry, played out, which would result in a payout. I guess we're going to take Pat Bryant here, as it looks like Hurst already went. That's fine. And then I guess if we'll just decide between Franklin and Bateman here at the end. I'm trying to see who's left. So we wound up with Lamar Jackson, Bo Nix, and Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Javonte Williams, Josh Jacobs, Bashal Tootin, Rico Dowdle, Woody Marks, Jonah Coleman, and Marshawn Lloyd at running back. Flowers, Adunze, Sutton, Godwin, McMillan, Pat Bryant, plus one more receiving threat. Tier 3 receiving threat, tier 7, but third receiving threat to stack out here. And Kincaid, Dulcich, and Evan Ingram. We are weak at tight end. We are, I'd say, mid-tier at running back. We are mid-tier at receiver, and we have a heck of a quarterback room. But again, when we go Lamar Jackson and get a blue chip asset, I think we could have taken Bo Nix and then punted on Mayfield and wound up with like a Cam Ward and been just as okay with that and had a better running back or a better receiver in here. So that's good notes for the future as we continue to just draft the heck out of these, because we are just drafting the heck out of these until either our entries are maxed or this thing is closed. And at the rate it's going, it'll probably be closed this tweet. So I'm drafting way ahead of it. And by the time these are posted, I'll just be pulling off of the drafts. So you'll be seeing them all after the fact. But I'm finding Underdog a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to having this portfolio going into the season, because I am an NFL fan through and through. I like any two games, any two teams in a good game is great for me. But when you have this much variety in fantasy, I think it's just gonna make it that much more interesting. Okay, so all the guys went, so we'll just take Bateman. I'm okay with that. Right? We see Franklin go off the board. Even Bell, he's a Bell believer down here, same as me. Yeah, I think just shooting our shot on Bateman is another piece of correlation is completely fine. Absolutely fine. Claiborne's a little interesting. All right. So, yeah, our wide receiver room and our tight end room are they do leave some to be desired. But if Flowers and Jaxon do have a connection this year, and we did pick up Sutton and Godwin as stacking pieces, as well as McMillan, Bryan, and Bateman, right? Like everyone after Sutton stacks, and Flowers is stacked. So there's a lot of good correlation on the team. All right, I like it. I think the lesson we learned is we don't, after you get a Jaxon, you don't need to get a third quarterback. You can get one here at the end of the fourth, whether it be a Ward or a Darnold or a Jones, and just be okay with that as your third quarterback and start off with a much higher blue chip piece in the form of, like I said, I would have gotten a Barkley or a Hampton or an Achane or a Henry, a Lamb, a Jefferson, and how much stronger would my positional value be with not dropping off too much at quarterback, knowing that Cam Ward can still sneak into Superflex behind Bo Nix. Same thing with Daniel Jones. So the other thing about Daniel Jones is you get some good stacking value late. I don't know if our friend here took full advantage of it, but you get, Pierce and Warren and Downs all after he does. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel. Thanks for checking out the draft. If you like it, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what you would have done differently. Do you agree with me? We didn't have to do 3 QBs here. See you in the next one. Appreciate y'all.